Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are good and you must have spent quality time with your family during your summer vacations. As you cannot go out because of COVID-19, so you have an opportunity to spend a quality time with your family. Okay, and I hope you must have enjoyed it. So after summer vacation, once again we are going to start your class. This is the first video after your summer vacation. So before summer vacation we have finished 3 chapters in Hornbill, and now today I am going to read and explain chapter 4, Landscape of the Soul. Okay, so today I am going to explain this chapter. This is a very beautiful chapter written by Nathalie Trevorrow. In this chapter, Nathalie tells us difference between two paintings, Chinese painting and European paintings. Also, she tells us a connection between a painting and a man. Okay, so let us go through the chapter and come to know what message she wants to give us. Okay, so let us begin. So first of all, let me give you the small introduction to the lesson. So written by Nathalie Trevorrow, the chapter is about how different the Chinese art form is from the European art form. So this chapter tells us difference between Chinese art form and European art form. The writer uses two stories to make a contrast. European art is about reproducing an actual view, whereas Chinese art is about not creating a real landscape. European art is an artist's way to let viewers show how exactly what he wants them to see in the landscape. Chinese art is the artist's spiritual and inner voice, where you can travel from any point and it lets the viewer creates a path for their imagination. So this way the Chinese and the European paintings are different from each other. In Chinese painting, the viewer can enter from any angle. The viewer has to use his own mind to understand the painting and can describe on its own way. But in European painting, it is not like this. In European painting, European painters want to show what is real, what exactly he want to show the viewers. He draws the same. But in Chinese paintings, viewers has to decide from which point they want to enter. Okay, so let us begin this beautiful story about two different paintings and enjoy. A wonderful old tale is about a painter Wu Daozi who lived in the 8th century. His last painting was a landscape commissioned by the Tang Emperor Yongzheng to decorate a palace wall. The master had hidden his work behind a screen, so only the emperor would see it. For a long while, the emperor admired the wonderful scene, discovering forests, high mountains, waterfalls, clouds floating, and in an immense sky, men or hilly paths, birds in flight. Look, sir, said the painter, in this cave at the foot of the mountain dwells a spirit. The painter clapped his hands, and the entrance to the cave opened. The inside is splendid beyond anything words can convey. Please let me show your majesty the way. The painter entered the cave, but the entrance closed behind him, and before the astonished emperor could move or utter a word, the painting had vanished from the wall. Not a trace of Wu Daozi brush was left, and the artist was never seen again in this world. In this paragraph, the author tells us that a painter named Wu Daozi, who lived in the 8th century, was assigned to decorate a palace wall by the Tang Emperor Yongzheng. It was his last painting. The painter hid his work behind the screen, so the only emperor would see it. The emperor, upon looking at the painting, admired many things into that painting, like discovering forests, high mountains, waterfalls, floating clouds, men on hilly paths, and birds in flight. The painter then made him look at a cave in the painting, which was at the foot of the mountain, and compared it with a living spirit. As the painter clapped his hands, the entrance of the cave opened, and he let the emperor know how beautiful the inside of the cave was, and he asked him to show all this to him. The painter entered the cave, and the entrance closed behind him. The emperor couldn't enter the cave, as the emperor was greatly surprised. The painting vanished from the wall. After that, the painter was never seen again. So in this paragraph, author tells us about a Chinese painter whose name was Wu Daozi and his painting. So Chinese painter made a painting for the emperor Tang, name of a place, Tang Emperor Yongzheng, and when he himself clapped the cave in the painting opened. So all this was happening in the imagination. So with these texts, the author wants to tell us that in Chinese painter, a viewer can enter from any site, and a viewer can enter from any angle of the painting. Okay, the painter himself, he was in imagination, he was imagining that, and his imagination was so strong that things started happening in real. So what he was thinking, but it was happening in reality. So he was imagining that. He clapped and in the painting the door of the cave opened, then he entered in the cave. So all these things the painter was imagining, and all these things was happening in his imagination. So it shows that if imagination is strong, so one can turn it into reality. Okay, so now let us go through the next paragraph. Such stories played an important part in China's classical education. The books of Confucius and Zhuangzi are full of them. So these are the writers. The books of Confucius and Zhuangzi are full of them. So such stories are the part of Chinese history education. Okay, so such stories are played very important role in classical education of China. They help the master to guide his disciple in the right direction. Beyond the anecdote, they are deeply revealing of the spirit in which art was considered. Contrast this story or another famous one about a painter who wouldn't draw the eye of a dragon he had painted, for fear it would fly out of the painting, with an old story from my native Flanders. Flanders, the name of a place in Western Europe, that I find most representative of Western painting. So in this paragraph, the author tells us that these stories played an important role in classical education of China. Similarly, like the books of Confucius and Zhuangzi are full of such stories, as they help the master to help the guide his followers in the right direction. These stories were considered to be deeply revealing of the spirit, just like the art. So there was another famous story in contrast to the previous one, where the painter wouldn't paint the eye of a dragon because he was afraid. He feared that the dragon would fly out from the painting. It was one of the stories from many others which came from a medieval country in Western Europe. So in this paragraph, the narrator wants to tell us, the author, she wants to tell us that there are another stories related to it, that the Chinese painters believed in realities. So they were whatever they were drawing, whatever they were painting, they were believing that it is going to be real. So that is why she tells us that one painter did not draw the eye of dragon because he had a fear that the dragon would come out from the paintings. So that is why he did not draw the eye of the painter. So the Chinese painter, they believed in reality. So whatever they were drawing, whatever painting they were making, so they were considering it real. They were not considering it an imagination. Okay, so they had a hard belief in their imagination. In 15th century, Antwerp means a city of northern Belgium, and Antwerp. So in 15th century Antwerp, a master blacksmith called Quentin Matsys fell in love with a painter's daughter. The father would not accept a son-in-law in such a profession. So Quentin sneaked into the painter's studio and painted a fly on his latest panel with such delicate realism which seems to be real, that the master tried to swat, hit or crush something, that is swat. The master tried to swat it away before he realized what had happened. So Quentin was immediately admitted as an apprentice into his studio. He married his beloved and went on to become one of the most famous painters of his age. These two stories illustrate what each form of art is trying to achieve: a perfect illusionistic likeness. A perfect illusionistic likeness, an illusion created which resembles something. In Europe, the essence of inner life and spirit in Asia. So in this paragraph, the author tells us a story of European painting and makes a contrast between a Chinese painting and an European painting. So she tells us, during the 15th century in Antwerp, a master blacksmith named Quentin Matsys falls in love with a painter's daughter. Since the father was not accepting their relationship because of his profession, because he was a blacksmith, so that is why the girl's father was not accepting their relationship. He did not like that profession of blacksmith. So the blacksmith sneaked into the painter's studio. So quietly the blacksmith entered the painter's studio and painted a fly on his latest panel. And blacksmith, painted a fly on the painter's latest panel. The painting was so real that the master tried to hit the fly away. So the painting which he had drawn, it was looking so real that the painter was trying to fly it away, before he realized that it was just a painting. So the blacksmith was accepted into the studio as a trainee. He married the painter's daughter and later became one of the famous painters of his age. The two stories told above are trying to illustrate the form of art in two different regions. In Europe, the art is perfect and like an illusion which resembles something. In Asia, the art gives an essence of inner life and spirit. So this is the difference between two paintings, paintings of Europe and paintings of Asia. In Asian painting, means in Chinese painting, you have seen that a viewer can enter it from any angle, but in European painting it is not like that. So whatever the painter has painted, it is very clear, it is very real. Okay, so you need not to make guesses about it, but the painting which a Chinese painter has made, has drawn, so you have to think over it, you have to conclude it on your own. You can enter from any side, you are free to move. So the Chinese painter gives an opportunity to the viewers to go through the paintings freely, but a European painters, he does not allow the viewers to enter in his painting from any angle. So it seems to be real. The European paintings seem to be real. In the Chinese story, the emperor commissions a painting and appreciates its outer appearance, but the artist reveals to him the true meaning of his work. The emperor may rule over the territory he has conquered, but the only artist knows the way within. Let me show you the way. The Dao, a word that means both the path or the method and the mysterious works of the universe. The painting is gone, but the artist has reached his goal beyond any material appearance. So, as in the Chinese story, the artist reveals the true meaning of his work to the emperor who rules over his territory, but didn't know the way within. The emperor only saw the outer appearance of the wall painting. The work was mysterious and Dao, which means something which has both paths, and what the artist did. As the painting was gone after the artist reached the caves, the motive was fulfilled that some work is beyond material appearance. In Chinese paintings, the painter had to explain what he had drawn. He had to explain the emperor. Whatever the painting of a landscape he had drawn, he had to explain. He, as in the first paragraph, we have seen that he clapped his hand and the cave opened and he entered, and with painting then he disappeared. So all these things was happening in his imagination. So the Chinese paintings were based on imagination. So the viewers cannot understand what the painter wanted to say, what the painter wanted to convey. Okay, so he can enter the painting from any angle. So as we have seen that there is a story about Chinese painter Dao, in which how Dao explained, how Wu Daoji explained about it. And in this paragraph, the narrator also tells us the meaning of this Chinese word Dao, okay, which means both the path or method and the mysterious work of the universe. So the painting has gone with the painters. So Dao, which means something which has both paths, is what the artist did. As the painting was gone after the artist reached the caves, the motive was fulfilled that some work is beyond material appearance. So it was the aim of the painter to enter the painting, and he has entered in his imagination and with painting, and imagination was so strong that everything was happening in reality. Okay. A classical Chinese landscape is not meant to reproduce an actual view, as would a Western figurative painting, whereas the European painters wants you to borrow his eyes and look at a particular landscape exactly as he saw it. So what is the difference between a Chinese painter and a European painter? A Chinese painter wants you to enter the painting from any angle, but a European painter wants you to see the painting with his eyes, what he wants to convey with the painting. So you only understand that thing, that message. But a Chinese painter makes you free to enter the painting from a specific angle. The Chinese painter does not choose a single viewpoint. His landscape is not a real one, and you can enter it from any point, then travel in it. The artist creates a path for your eyes to travel up and down, then back again in a leisurely movement. This is even more true in the case of the horizontal scroll, in which the action of slowly opening one section of the painting, then rolling it up to move on to the other, adds a dimension of time which is unknown in an other form of painting. It requires the active participation of the viewer, who decides at what pace he will travel through painting. A participation which is physical as well as mental. The Chinese painter does not want you to borrow his eyes, he wants you to enter his mind. So here very beautifully the author tells us what is the difference between a Chinese painter and a European painter. The Chinese landscape painting is not made with a real viewpoint, but it is a representation of the artist's thoughts. The Western painting in Europe is a figurative art form. So it is a metaphoric representation of an art. Okay, so as you have seen in the example, difference between both the paintings. European painters made a fly which seems to be real. That painter wanted to kill it, wanted to fly it away. On the other hand, the Chinese painters made a painting which he had to explain to the emperor. So this is the difference between a Chinese and European painting, the way they were painting. So the European painter paints a landscape to show you a specific scene of the landscape, where the Chinese painter doesn't choose a real viewpoint. You can enter the painting from any point and can travel anywhere your thoughts and imaginations take you. The Chinese artist wants you to travel by creating your own path and then come out in a relaxed movement. In China, the mode of seeing the painting is more enjoyable. A horizontal scroll is a form of one section of the painting is opened one by one by rolling it up and move on to other side. You must have seen such paintings which is opened by rolling up, and as you roll up you will be able to open the painting and you will be able to see next part of the painting. In China, this mode of seeing a painting is more enjoyable. A horizontal scroll, a form where one section of the painting is opened one by one by rolling it up on the other side. It creates a dimension which is not practiced in any other form of artwork. It requires both mental and physical participation of the viewer. The Chinese painter wants you to enter his mind and see the painting from his thoughts. The landscape created by Chinese artists is spiritual, inner, and the you can say conceptual or abstract space. So in Chinese painting you can enter from any side. The Chinese painter gives you free opportunity to enter the painting and you speculate painting on your own. But on the other hand, European painters does not give you this opportunity. So he shows you whatever he wants to show you. But Chinese painter, he draws and he does not want to look at the painting, see the painting at his point of view. Okay. So in this video, till this paragraph. In my next video, I will explain the rest part of this chapter. So thank you for watching.